An American Leader. The Story of Martin Luther King Jr. Question 1. During which month do Americans celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day? Is it A, January, B, February, C, March? Number 2. Martin Luther King Jr.'s work to change unfair laws was caused by a desire for people to be treated fairly. What was the effect of King's work? What happened because of King's work? Is it A, Martin Luther King Jr. led marches and gave speeches? B, equal rights laws were passed, so Americans are treated fairly. C, African Americans and whites went to separate schools. Question 3. African Americans were treated unfairly. What evidence from the passage best supports this conclusion? Is it A, African Americans were forced to sit in the back of buses? B, Martin Luther King Jr. led marches and gave speeches? Or is it C, Americans honor Martin Luther King Jr. with a holiday? So African Americans were treated unfairly. What evidence from the passage best supports this conclusion? 4. Read the following sentence from King's speech. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. How did Martin Luther King Jr. feel about the future of America? Scared, angry, hopeful. 5. What is this passage mostly about? Is it A, Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech? Is it B, why African Americans were treated differently than white people? C, how Martin Luther King Jr. helped change unfair laws. So what is this passage mostly about? Six, read the following sentences. Each January, Americans honor him with a holiday. This year, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is January 20th. What does the author begin the passage this way? Or why does the author begin the passage this way? Is it A, to tell the reader about Martin Luther King Jr.'s life? B, to tell the reader why we honor Martin Luther King Jr.? Or is it C, to tell the reader about Martin Luther King Jr.'s day? 7. Choose the best the answer that best completes the sentence below. Blank laws in some parts of the country of the United States were unfair. African Americans had to sit in the back of buses. So laws in some parts of the United States were unfair. African Americans had to sit in the back of the buses. Because laws in some parts of the United States were unfair, African Americans had to sit in the back of buses. But laws in some parts of the United States were unfair, African Americans had to sit in the back of the buses. Number 8, what kind of marches did Martin Luther King Jr. lead? 9, how were African Americans treated differently from white people? 10, why do Americans celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day?